Okay, so let's start. Today we'll be working with FPS Assault Pack, which used to be free for March 2020, so I have it on my account. This is a pack that has just two weapons, very high quality, and it has also hands animation, so this is absolutely perfect for the showcase that we're doing today. So what I did, I already added to our AGR project. So I just opened the project, haven't done anything to it yet. This is the pack we've added. And first of all, we're going to make a new map. So we're going to copy this first person example map and we're going to paste it here. Come on. Okay, there it is. And we're going to rename it, and we're going to name it FPS Pro Map. Okay. Okay, so let's just open this map and let's just keep it as it is and make a build. So the lighting is built. Well, that figures. Okay, we got the lighting built, and we're going to make a new set of character game mode and everything. I'm going to do this for every of those mini series examples so that people see how to work with AGR components absolutely from scratch. Okay, so we'll go into AGR examples, we're going to gameplay, we're going to make a new folder which is going to be called FPS Pro. And here we're going to make a blueprint class, which is a game mode base, and it will be called BP FPS Pro game mode. And we're going to make a character, which will be also here, so it's a blueprint character, and we'll be called BP FPS Pro character. Okay, and for once I haven't done any typos, so let's just set it here as a default one, and this is the default pawn, and the HUD will be the first person HUD, so it's just a crosshair. And oh, let's just make sure that it's, yeah, okay, this is fine. And player controller is not player controller but AGR player controller, which is important for the components to work. And we don't change anything else. Okay, so just save everything, and now we can open our character and let's start working with the character itself. And I will try to do it partially by explaining as much as I can, but most of all I will try to do it as fast as I can. So just set up this character first, so let's make it AGR mannequin. Thank you. Lower this guy by 88, I guess. This is the capsule half height, so let's make it 90, and let's lower this guy by minus 90, and let's now rotate this guy by 90 degrees. Okay, that might be as well minus 270. I mean 270 or minus 90, doesn't matter. We can compile that. This guy needs to have animation blueprint, which will be AGR core. So the one that is driving all animations, and the standard one, not the countest. Okay, and also because we know it will be a problem soon, we need to go here, go into skeletal mesh optimization and check this visibility based anim tick option. For multiplayer purposes, we want it to be always tick, pause and refresh both. So that's it. That's the setup for the character as is. Okay, now we need to add components, and it will be AGR animation master, so this one, and that's it for now. We don't need combat master. And once we added this, he changed the pose because he has some default values here. We're going to change those default values as we speak right now. So the modification tags, we're going to have none right now. Rotation, this we will change, this we will change as well, but we're going to set base pose to base animation starter pack. Okay, so this is the gun pose. And aim offset will be animation, aim offset, aim at, and aim clamp will be nearest, so the one that is. Camera based aim, no. Is first person view, yes. Yeah, okay, the rest can stay as this. Pelvis one, okay, this is fine. This is all runtime, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so this is done. Let's go into event graph, begin play, and we're going to make we can delete those. We're going to make a custom event, call it init anim component. Okay, we're going to change get our animation master component and type setup aim offset. We're going to do setup base pose, setup overlay pose, setup turn rotation, and that's it. Only those 4 are important for us. Oh, and setup first person. Okay, that's it. So those 5. This is the overlay, this is the base, and this is that. Okay, 4, 5, and we're going to set up everything here. Init animation component, and let's do it fast. So animation offset tag will be aim at. Our aim speed will be 6, aim clamp 90, this is fine. Camera based aim, no, we'll just have 1 camera for first person, that's it. And aim clamp, so it is basically taking aim offset from our character rotation, I mean controller rotation, not from the camera rotation. So aim clamp will be aim clamp nearest. Okay, this one. Now turn rotation, we're going to make an absolute turn. For FPS shooter, this will be the best option, so it's going to be turn, and here we're going to use character rot yaw, so this is an absolute rotation. Rotation speed is actually irrelevant in this case, and start angle, we can just set all those to some values that are reasonable if we ever want to change our turn rotation, so it will be just faster for us. And then setup base pose, it will be the base animation starter pack, and overlay pose will be animation overlay here, and we have FPS starter, so let's just use this for now. So we just have anything, and is first person will tick yes, and that's it. And on begin play, we're just doing init animation component, and that's it. Okay, so what we have here is almost enough to test it playing. All we need to do now is to add inputs, right? So let's just make a new graph. Let's call it inputs. And to be efficient, we're just going to copy it from other example content. So we're going to go into FPP example. We're going to open FPP example character. We're going to go into inputs, and we're going to copy everything. That's it. Go back here, and we can close this one. And now let's think. This stays. This we don't need at all. Reset VR we don't need. Yeah, let's just create those variables. So this is pad input, this is mouse input, and this is movement input, and it's based on control rotation. So this is fine. Compile, save. And because we're doing stuff here, I don't need to really change anything when it comes down to how the character base is set up. So I don't have to change class default values, and I don't really have to change default values of movement component. Only value that I will change will be the walk speed, because I don't want 600, I want like 320, and crouch will be like 120, and that's it. I'm not changing anything else. Okay, and we got inputs, and that should be enough for it to work. So let's see. One standalone, so local player play. Oh, we didn't add any camera, so we have a camera on our controller, and our controller is automatically attached to the character at its root, so at its belly. So that's why it looks like this. So let's go back here. We need to add the camera, just add, and we can do a spring arm, and onto the spring arm we can add camera, and spring arm will actually use palm control rotation. And we added a spring arm because we might want to add a certain camera rotation lag or something that is only spring arm compatible, but for now we're not doing collision, and the arm length is 0 and the attachment point is head. So it's attaching to head, it's always here, and the camera is also using palm control rotation, and nothing more really, that's it. Okay, so let's test it. Okay, now I have camera in my head, I am rotating absolutely always. There is an IK sway to the hands, and I can see my hands, but I don't hold any weapon. But the general animations, they work. I can jump, and I have a jumping animation, and I am casting proper shadow. Everything works. Okay, so let's get back here. And what we need right now is to make animations that are based on this content. So this marks the end of just creating an example starting template for this. So now we go here, and we need those animations for the rifle and for the hands to work on our character. So we're going to do the thing we always do. So delete the skeleton. However, first we might have to do some stuff with this skeleton. So let's go into, where is it? Meshes, ammunition, rifle, no. FPS arms, okay, here it is. Meshes, arms, and let's go into custom arms skeleton. So let's look at it. And let's look at our target options. So this looks absolutely standard. I don't see anything. This is like a camera socket which is at just 0, 0, 0 and just rotated, so that's fine. It's just head. Oh, okay, this is different. So you got a gun R and gun L bones that are IK bones that are added to this skeleton. Now this is terrible, because if we were going to use this skeleton, like if we delete this skeleton and we assign our skeleton, those two bones are going to be added to the skeleton itself. But the problem is that if the mesh is not using those bones will be skipped in any animation. It's not based on animation if the animation is skipping bones, it's based on the character itself. So those hands are the only asset that can use those bones. So let's make a preview animation and just do just arms, rifle, idle. Okay, so if we have this arms, rifle, idle, this socket is animating, and this special IK bone has a position. And if we weren't changing anything to it, we would just take the hand R and we'll just add a virtual socket, virtual bone, and we'll just pick this gun R, and then we would have this virtual bone which is in the correct place of our virtual bone, of our IK bone gun R. But this is child to hand R, so all our IK to hand R would follow, but it won't be as simple. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to make a socket on our right hand, and we're going to have problems with it basically. So let's just pause this. Let's see at this and that. What we're going to do, we're going to copy this, and we're going to open our own AGR skeleton, and we're going to go into AGR, characters, mannequin, character, mesh, and skeleton, this one. And we're going to make a socket on our hand R, or we're going to make a virtual bone on our hand R. So we can make, we're going to make a socket. So we'll just make a socket. We're going to add socket, and we're going to call it FPS Pro socket. Doesn't really matter that much. And we're going to paste our transform here, and we're going to go back into this animation. We're going to take the rotation as well. We're going to copy it as well, and we're going to paste it here. Okay. So now if we go into this and we add a preview mesh and we go into, I don't know, rifle, I think it's how it's called, yeah, SK rifle. If we add it here, oh, it is tilted 90 degrees. So basically this is 90, so that should work. Okay, we're going to see if this works. So we got a socket, we got a weapon on the socket. Let's now just delete that. So there's only one socket to copy. Those are useless to us, unfortunately. So we're deleting this skeleton as a whole. So let's go back here, FPS arms, meshes, arms, and skeleton. Okay, so we're deleting the skeleton and we're picking a new skeleton, which is the AGR mannequin skeleton. Replace all references. It will add those extra bones that we don't mind, because they will only work for these custom arms. And yes, okay. Okay, that's funny. So where is this skeleton? Okay, yeah, fine. It's just the preview mesh didn't update properly, and that's it. So this works. And now we probably see those two, or we don't. Yeah, those extra bones were added. That's fine. If we would open with this skeleton, skeletal mesh asset that uses this bone, so if we just double click on this, it will say that it needs to add bones to the skeleton, and do you want to do it, and save the skeleton. But we don't want to do it because we don't mind this mesh at all. And AGR mannequin arms, okay, replace reference, okay. Okay, so now we have proper animations. So let's do M16 first, and then we're going to do the second weapon, and then we're going to do swapping and all that stuff with them. So we're going to our AGR examples, blueprints right now, AnimBP, and we're going to make a new one. So just make animation, blueprint, and this is, the parent class is just anim instance, so it's fine, and our skeleton is AGR mannequin skeleton, okay, and we call it BP M16 Pro. Okay, so we got a new anim blueprint, and because we want it to be a sub blueprint, we want to have an input pose. So we have an input pose that we are saving, and we're just going to call it saved input pose. And now we're going to get also some animations. So we need idle. Okay, let's take all three of them and just, oh, I can't do that like this. I have to do them one by one, I guess. And this one. Okay, so just see them how they look. Which one is the idle we are looking for? So this is I guess ADS or just normal. This is ADS, okay. Okay, and this is some additive idle that you might want to use or not. And by the way, immediately you can see that the animations are not done in the best possible way, to say the least, as the IK bones are what they are right here. Those are, I guess, our virtual bones. So what we would want to do is do AGRFKIK. Linked anim graph, and this will be class instance AGRIK to FK. So we're going to do this, and we're going to expose and say yes to the hands. Okay, that's better. And what's this? I don't really know what this is, but I guess it's not that important. We already fixed the IKs. So we got this. So this is idle. Okay, so we know that we're going to go into ADS. So we know that we'll have some tags that are modifying our animation. So we're going to add a variable and say anim modification tags. Okay, so in animation modification tags, the gameplay tag container, and we have this gameplay tag container that we're going to expose, and in our event graph we can just take this animation tag container that is being pushed from our parent animation blueprint, and we can just check if it has tag. And if our tag is, let's see if we have common abilities tags or compatibilities tags, that would be, no, we don't have any. So let's just add a tag. Let's go to our examples, and okay, let's just go directly to data, go into animation tags. Those are just animations, so no. Let's go into combat tags. Okay, so let's just duplicate this one, and let's change it common and say ADS. So this is the aim downside, and we go back here, and if it has tag ability common ADS, then promote to variable ADS, and that's it. And exact match. So exact match means that it has to be exactly this tag, and if it's not exact match, then ability.common.anything or ability.common.ads dot something would still match this tag. Yeah, the other option. So if it has this chain, and doesn't matter if we have dot and some other stuff, that would still match the tag. So this, oh, you know what, that doesn't really matter in our case. And we can go here and we can say blend by bool, and our blend by bool is ADS. So if ADS is true, then we go here, and if it's false, then it goes here, and this one is nowhere. So this is idle. So we could just make a state machine, and we're just going to make this state machine and call it locomotion, and on entry we're going to do a new state which is idle, and into this idle we're going to get this, just paste it as is, and this is idle. And now we can take this locomotion and we can do inertialization, and we can push it through this IK, and That's it. Like, this is our pulse. Nothing changed for us really, but now if we go into ADS and we press true and we compile, oh, nothing will change, because what we need to do here is just go here and say ability common ADS, and now it changes. You can see that. So I go into ADS and back. Okay, save it. So let's go back here. Now we need locomotion state, so add state moving, and this will be a promote variable idle. Oh, we cannot do it like this because we have idle as a state, so it has to be idle with a question mark, for example. Not. So if we are not idle, we want to go into locomotion, and if we are idle, we want to go back into idle. So just do this, and this is being exposed as well. ADS not exposed. So we can make it like expose, and this will be category internal. Okay, and now we will need blend space. So let's go back here. This is the animations. We can just use here. We can go into animation, blend space 1D, because that doesn't really matter. It will be called M16 Pro blend space. Okay, and we can go, we're not scaling, this is velocity, yeah, this is velocity, the minimum is 0, maximum will be, well, let's see what we have here really. Rifle walk. Okay, and what kind of pack is it? Let's make this window bigger. So this is our animation starter pack. It's not from this. They are called A arms rifle. So let's go here, A arms rifle, and let's just see what we have here. We have nothing really. How is that possible? Don't we have walk? Yeah, we got walk. So what's the difference between those? Animation rifle. Iron sight and normal. Okay. So this is normal. So let's go here and just place it and just say 1. So this is walk, and we don't have, do we have run? No. Do we have sprint? Yeah, we got sprint, but only one sprint animation. Okay, that's poor, honestly, but we can work with that. And we can go into our idle. So I think it was this one, idle 1. Okay, and this animation, it doesn't, okay, it has some small sway, so this is walking. Okay, so the velocity will be, let's say 120, and no, let's make it let's make it 200. Let's say, so this is 200, this is 120, so this is walking, let's make it smaller, maybe 160. We're going to see in a moment how it turns out. Target blend weight interpolation, something very high, like 8 at least, and interpolation time for velocity 0.2. We're not scaling. Okay, so because of how this is being set, really, if we go here, we don't really need that. So we can just yeah, we don't really need that. What we need is just blend space pro, and this contains both idle and not idle. So what we need is just to have velocity, and velocity will be exposed, so we don't really need this idle at all. And we're going to have to do the same thing for iron side. So just copy this one and M16 Pro ADS blend space. So we just swap animations. So we need to take idle 2. No, not this one. Iron side idle 1, this one. Okay, and we need to go into walk, and there is iron side walk. Okay, so this one. So it looks like this. My cuts are up to no good as usual. And this stays the same, 0, 2, 8, 160, doesn't scale, it's fine. Okay. So instead of this, we're going to do the same. So M16 Pro ADS blend space, and just connect the same velocity here as well. And that's the entire walking, and if we are jumping, it is exactly the same. We're not changing anything as well, because we're keeping the same poses. The only thing we might do is sprinting, so let's just do sprinting. So we'll need an internal variable called sprint, which is boolean, and it's internal, and we go into event graph, and we're doing exactly the same thing. And this will be common ability sprinting. We already have one tag like this, and okay, this sprint ADS. Okay, back to anim graph, and we're going to do blend by bool again. So if sprinting is true, then rifle sprint, and if false, then not. Okay, so this is the one, I think. No, this is animation starter pack. So you have to go into this pack, animations, rifle again, and sprint. Okay, this one. Just drag it and push it here. That's it. Okay. So now if we go here and we clear those tags and we just add sprinting, then we are sprinting. ADS, okay, and nothing. So that works. And I think that's everything for now, and we can start using this as an input. So we got this saved input pose, saved, use cached pose, and now we're going to do a blend by bone. So no, not channel blend, blend bone, layer blend per bone. So the base pose is the input pose, so actually the base, and the out pose is this one that we just calculated, and it's going to be mesh space rotation blend, and we're going to have spine 0, 1, and blend depth will be 0, so it's an absolute blend depth. And we're adding another one, which is IK, hand IK root, I guess this is the name of it. Let's see, skeleton, I always forget how the IK bones are being named. IK hand root, okay, so it's IK hand root. Underscore hand root, okay, so it's this one. And you know what, this fix of a pose need to be later on, it has to be here. Okay, that works. And that's the entire anim graph for our new pose. So now we go into our examples, blueprints, and oh no, we go into HDR, blueprints, and we're going into AnimBP, core AnimBP, and we need to set up a new pose. So we need animation tags, base, duplicate, and the new base is base.m16. No, it's not base. It's overlay m16. Okay, so we got an overlay pose ready. So I go into our core AnimBP. We go into overlays, and we just make a new one. M16 linked anim graph, M16, that's the name of it. Yeah, and the impose is base, catched pose base, so whatever comes from the base linked graph. And we just adding this, and now expose. We don't want to expose everything, we want to just expose notification tags and velocity. So we're getting the velocity, and we're getting the animation tags, animation tag container, and that's it. Compile and save, and now we need to be able to enter this state. So we need to know that our overlay pose is equal animation overlay M16, and it's true, and we're going back from it if it's false. So if it's not this pose, and yeah, I'll just place it somewhere. Okay, like this. Just save it, and now we can go back to our character that we are working on this map, find him, go here, and now we can actually set in event graph in this animation component that our base pose is animation starter pack, but our overlay pose is not this but M16. Just use the M16 pose and first person, and let's see if our hands are even moving. Okay, they are moving properly with us. So let's add the rifle and let's see if it's added properly. So they are moving when I am walking, and I don't have any ADS yet. So let's change that. Let's go into inputs. Let's just add like, do we have trigger inputs? Action events, left trigger, right trigger. Yeah, we do have right trigger. So those are just inputs defined in the project settings. So the left trigger, so the left one, that will be ADS, and the right one will be shooting, right? So the left one, it will be taking our animation master. This will be a dirty and fast way to do it, just for testing. and we'll be get animation or just tags, get modification tags, and we'll be just adding gameplay tag and remove gameplay tag, and the gameplay tag is make literal gameplay tag, which will be called common ADS, and we're going to link it on the top and bottom one. So ADS format, yes, compile, and no trigger right now, so just the left one. Okay, so the ADS is working, the animation of walking is still working, this is idle. Okay, it's working.